She can't say for shizzle, my Nizzle. I guess because Nizzle is a derivative of.
Yes.
I'm saying that in context. I didn't mean to say it.
You said it. You said that.
I said I'm not using that word.
You already did.
But I was using it in context. That's why.
I don't know if that's
I don't think
fireable.
She should have been fired.
Because she didn't. It's for shizzle, my Nizzle.
She might not even know what Nizzle means, yo. I'm not, like, come on, we got stop, man. That's not a reason to fire that woman, yo.
No, she was been fired.
Charlemagne is defending a TV anchor in the state of Mississippi who was recently fired after reciting a seemingly innocuous Snoop Dogg lyric. Now, before we get to the rest of his thoughts on the story, let's fill you in on the situation and what got this woman fired in the first place. So on March 8th, NBC affiliate WLBT in Mississippi was discussing Snoop Dogg and apparently the rapper's business ventures, including new additions to his wine line. Now, anchor Barbie Bassett said, "For shizzle."
My Nizzle, I'll say it.
Okay,
I'll tell you why I'm going to say it in a second, other than the fact that it's absurd. Of course you can say it, but go ahead.
Okay, so she says that, and apparently that is what led to her firing. So fellow WLBT anchor Wilson Stribling joked that a colleague may get a Snoop Dogg inspired tattoo following in the likes of Martha Stewart, which by the way, did she really get a Snoop Dogg tattoo? I didn't know about that. To which Bassett replied with the lyric. Now, meteorologist Patrick Ellis was visibly stunned after the comment was uttered. I was curious if that interpretation of the situation was accurate. Was he really stunned? So I looked for the video and I grabbed this screenshot, and it does appear that he was stunned after she said the lyric.
Yeah, but everybody's saying it as if like he was stunned by the racial aspect. We have no idea. He might have been like, it also looked like he might have been embarrassed that she's trying to quote rap lyrics.
Right, because it was
like
cringy.
It's awkward,
yeah,
it's cringy.
Yeah, it was a little cringy because it's, yeah, anyway. So with that said, I do want to go to the rest of Charlemagne's comments on this, and then we'll discuss.
That's the thing with hip hop, man. Hip hop is so big and so mainstream, and it's just like who can consume it and who can't. You know what I mean?
She's been there for 20 plus years.
Who can repeat slang and who can't? How old is that woman, yo?
She's been there for 20 years.
She might be old. She probably has no idea.
She probably a Snoop fan.
Nizzle is a derivative of the N-word.
Which is crazy.
She might not have any idea. She just thinks she's sounding cool repeating Snoop Dogg.
I think that his take on this is 100% accurate. I don't think she stopped to think about it. I gotta be honest with you, it makes sense. It makes sense that that is a derivative of that slur, but I don't think most people have stopped to think about it, right? So I think my issue is firing someone, okay, a woman who has worked in this company for 20 years. At this point, she's fired, so it's incredibly difficult to find another media job, especially when you're a woman and especially when you're a little older. It would have been a good opportunity to have a conversation about it, right? A good teachable moment. But of course, we don't do that anymore. We just get rid of people. We fire people. We always assume the worst intent and we move on. That's what we do. This is America.
Yeah, so look, the reason I like Charlemagne is because he's real. So a lot of people on TV are, not a lot, almost all of them are fake, right? So they go with, they're like, oh, okay, where's the crowd going? Okay, the crowd's going that way. Oh, we're now Nizzle is banned. Where did that come from? Nowhere, right? And Charlemagne says the thing that's obvious. He's like, wait, didn't we just invent that? What are you talking about, right? Why? How would she know? How's that lady gonna know that if Nizzle is offensive, that it's offensive, right? Or what it stands for, right? Of course, does intent matter? Now there's a new line of thought that intent doesn't matter.
No, I disagree with that.
That's mental. How can you say somebody's doing something bad if they didn't intend to do something bad? Like that, it just doesn't, there's no logic to it. I'm not gonna entertain that debate. Okay, so now the word, it's a replacement of the N-word. You know what else is a replacement of the N-word? The N-word, what we call the N-word. That is a replacement because you don't wanna say the actual word. Snoop put Nizzle in the song because he didn't wanna say that word. He wanted to say a substitute word. Well, now we can't say the substitute words? Then you can't say the N-word either. Like literally the phrase N-word, that's a substitute, so you don't have to say the actual word.
Okay,
right?
I see what you're saying now.
So now.
That's actually a really good point, I didn't even think about that.
Right, so now wait, now if I can't say the N-word, like meaning the phrase N-word, and I can't say Nizzle, how do I even refer to the original ugly word? Like it makes no sense at all. Nobody's even trying to make sense, okay? He made it a playful thing in the song so that people could say it, okay? So this is insanity through and through. Guys, look here, I'll give you one more example. I usually do it with my own ethnicity, so you know I'm not biased, I hope. So in the old days, they used to call Muslims in this country Mohammedans or Muslimin. And at some point that became offensive, but it wasn't in the beginning. You know, politicians would use it, legitimate people would use it, etc. But at some point it became offensive. So then they went to Muslims, which is more accurate and etc. But honestly, any word can be accurate, depends on how you use it. So now are you not allowed to say Muslims because it's a replacement for Mohammedan or Muslimin? No, that's the whole point of a replacement, okay? So now people are pretending to be outraged about a playful replacement that a black rapper put forward.
Yeah.
No, you guys are firing that lady's crazy.
I agree with you on that. And okay, look, let's take a step back for a second. So for anyone who does believe using that word or reciting that lyric is offensive, my issue is by just firing her and also taking delight in just firing people who offend you does nothing to advance or improve race relations in America. In fact, it has only divided the country more. It has caused more anger, more fury, more division. It's created this incredibly toxic environment when in reality, like this conversation is really interesting. You've made points that I didn't even consider, right? It would be a great teachable moment to sit down. Imagine having that conversation. If let's say the meteorologist in this case, right, was actually genuinely offended, this could have been a great opportunity to have a conversation about it on local news, which to be quite frank, local news usually doesn't have content that's like thought-provoking. But imagine having that thought-provoking conversation and debate.
Yeah, and that's 100% right. We've said it in the case of Megyn Kelly, Don Imus, and you can go on and on and on. Way better to have the conversation than to fire the, and here's something that the left doesn't seem to understand. And you can say it's right or it's wrong, but it's still real. For a lot of people in this country, they get super nervous about stuff like this. They think they're going to be fired. So when they see Megyn Kelly being fired for something where they might have mistakenly said the same thing, they get super nervous and they get nervous about the left, okay? The left becomes an existential threat to them. Now, when you take it to Snoop Dogg lyrics that are totally benign, I guarantee you tons of white people on the right, the left, and the middle are like, whoa, I can't say that? Oh, I don't know, and they get nervous. They think, oh, the left's gonna get me fired.
But they get nervous about engaging in discussions with people of other races, other backgrounds. That's the biggest issue, right? They get nervous because they're worried that they might say something that they don't mean to be offensive, they don't think is offensive, but ends up being interpreted as offensive.
And what I'm saying is it's a double whammy.
Yeah.
On the political front, you're not gonna get anybody to vote for Democrats or progressives if they think if I vote for them, I'm gonna get fired, okay? It's terrible politics, okay? Now, but number two is the more important point is the one Anna's making, which is it ends the national conversation. We can't actually talk to one another.
Exactly,
because
yeah.
everybody's scared to death of saying something. And then you got crazy right wingers coming in with like over the top offensive stuff, and then you can't even counter them. This is just this. Our national dialogue in this conversation in this country is broken. People can't even talk to one another without both sides screaming about how everyone has to be fired, everyone has to be canceled. Yes, the right wing does it at least as much as the left wing. And so we're in this state now where even Charlamagne's like, I don't get why they fired that white lady, right? So look, and the last thing is, I know some people are saying, hey, she had a couple of other questionable things.
She had one other thing that I did want to bring up because I do think it's relevant to the conversation. So Bassett had previously caused controversy with a comment referring to a black reporter's grandmother. Instead of saying grandmother, she said grandmammy on air.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if that's a Mississippi thing about black folks or if that's a Mississippi thing about grandmothers, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys might know better out there. But even in this, like, if she was my point is, I'm not defending her as a human being. I don't know anything about her. By the way, you probably also know nothing about her, right? We barely know anything about her. I'm saying on the issue of the Snoop lyrics, I'm with Charlemagne, and I don't think it's close.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.